What's up, everybody? And hello there. Welcome to
Hi,
Romancing the
Rob.
Stones. How's it going, Hockey?
It's going pretty well. Uh, won all my matches.
You're the only one who's won all their matches.
We're gonna watch this, see if one of these guys can sneak in at like seventh.
Yeah. For those of you tuning in, this is Romancing the Stones Middle School Webcam League. This is the last round of our Swiss. We've had 6 rounds. Both these players are 3-2, and the math is really wibbly wobbly, and these players could be playing for a win and end. So we're going to find out, what happens here. So there's some stuff on the line. They're playing for top 8. Maybe.
Rob's underplaying it. He was just explaining that like whoever wins this one is probably gonna win the whole thing. I don't really know how that works. I feel like not a lot has changed in top 8 rules in the last 6 months, but
When you're the TO, you can just snap your fingers and stuff happens.
which is funny because you're not the TO.
No, I'm just the producer slave.
While we're waiting for them to start, I just want to make fun of Patrick's setup here. We've been doing this for years now. We've been doing this for like 4 years, 3 years. He's been there the whole time. He's played in all of them, and he's still just got like a laptop set on a counter 15 feet away from where he's playing at.
Yeah, we've zoomed in a little bit.
Like my setup isn't great either, but it was $20. So
I mean,
Patrick has more money
it
than
doesn't take
sense.
much. It doesn't take much, but we'll see. He's made it this far.
Don't tell him I said that.
All right. So what are our players playing? Raj has been on stream once before this league. He's on a Tax Rack, Psychatog, Sea Drake counterspell build. It's kind of the best way to call it. I don't know what we're calling this deck.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Like, does he have meddling mages and plows? Is he just like
I know that there are a number of meddling mages in the 75. I have to pull the list at some point.
meddling mage is one of the best cards in this format, and
Oh yeah.
if it didn't cost blue white, it'd be played a lot more. All right, Patrick's leading off on the draw with a goblin lackey that gets dazed.
Okay, so Patrick's obviously on goblins. The red menace here, and this is probably the best case scenario for Raja.
That's got to be pretty acceptable for Patrick. Like now he's ahead on mana. Like the point of the lackey is to cheat on mana. Like we got a card and we're still getting what we want. And just diamond pass.
Interesting keep from Raja here. Oh, this is protection for blue.
Play a pile driver.
That's important. All of Raja's creatures are blue. Interesting. All right. Well, I mean that's a good follow-up, but hey, look,
okay, he's got the
swords.
plow.
Okay.
So I mean, he's got the answers. I don't know if Raja knew what Patrick was playing. Patrick's been playing goblins for a little while, so he might have known.
Raja did know. I don't know if he knows the list, but I know that he knew Patrick was on goblins. Yeah. Whether he's watched them in the previous, leagues, or previous rounds.
Another pile driver, right? Is that what that is?
That is another pile driver.
I feel like he must have drawn the plow, because wouldn't you just have played the diamond and plowed the lackey?
No.
I guess maybe not. If the island's his only land, but foil.
No, we have the counter magic. So Raj already identified his path to victory, which is stop Patrick from resolving minions.
Raj is very far from doing anything himself, though.
I guess if we had a land tax, it would be played. This is an interesting keep.
Land tax isn't actually doing something. It is a prelude to doing something.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, cards in hand count from Raja there. 2 cards. Patrick taps 3 mana and attacks for 2.
In fact, attack you with a war chief.
All right, hard cast days.
Patrick's got
nope. All right,
a number of cards in his hand still, right? Like Raja 2 for 1 himself and 3 for 1 himself.
Yes. But
Patrick went second, so like he should have like just the full grip basically. He's played He's got to have like 4 cards, 5 cards. Which is terrifying because he can play Ringleader like right here and just have all the cards.
That, I mean, and if that's the case, then like Patrick's Keep was just real solid, right? You know, Lackey into 2 pile drivers that are, all 3 of those are missed answers for Raja here.
I mean, a lot of what Goblins does is a must answer because they, you know, this War Chief can just like turn into
anything left in the
amounts
deck.
of damage.
Oh, well, that's anemic.
Well, that is a Skirk Prospector.
Okay, that might be the sign of weakness Raja's hoping for.
Yeah.
But we're gonna play a land.
Play another mountain.
And then we're Gem Palm Incinerator.
We're just gonna make a Gem Palm Incinerator.
And a Fanatic. Okay.
And a Mog Fanatic.
We are now empty-handed, but the pressure is on.
Patrick has cast Sense Weakness and is going for it. And I think that's definitely a line. Like he is obviously like way ahead on tempo. Now he'll be able to start using his Rishidan port.
Yeah, this is what
I think it's a good line.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Like his other option is like cycling.
Cycling does nothing here. This at least attacks for 2, and this puts on a 2-turn clock.
If he plays a Sea Drake, cycle would kill it.
Sure.
He would have been in a position to port. So I think that's like it has merits, but.
All right, well, we see the Sea Drake, so we have a blocker. But
yeah, like that's really problematic for Patrick, and if he had kept for the cycle, I
mean,
this game would be over.
We could still attack with a Gem Palm here. If it blocks, at least, you know, we can...
It's like a 2-1?
Yeah, it's a 2-1, so our Mark Fanatic will clean up the Sea Drake. So Patrick says, yeah, I'm going to battle with these guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have much choice.
If we're battling with these 2, I'd battle at least with the Prospector too.
Yeah, offer the you can eat my guy for 4 damage. I think that's valid. And if you're gonna do that, you might as well just swing with everything.
Well, there's some merit to keeping the.
Yeah, I guess then like he can just block the Mog Fanatic, and now you actually do have a problem.
Yeah. But.
What is happening?
So just talk about the math there. Okay, that's fine. Patrick's got a card in hand. Raja should be down to 10.
I'm putting my drink order in. Excuse me.
I mean, this is the window for, I think, Raja to kind of climb out of this. If we can maybe deploy another blocker, like a Psychatog right here would be great.
Like, I just feel like generally when we look at these tax track decks and these Tog decks, we like give them too much benefit of doubt on how good their top decks are going to be. Like, it has a lot of air. Most of his top decks don't do a lot. Like, okay, I'll play another card, disadvantage card.
Yeah, I mean, Enlightened Tutor, I don't know what we go here that
takes a turn to do anything. Like, he might have like a Propaganda, which is mediocre.
Yeah, we have plenty of mana to pay for Propaganda right now.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we unless we have one half of the tax rat combo in hand and we're just going to complete it here.
I mean, that's so slow. Like, what you're to spend your turn drawing 1 card? Like, what? There's 0 cards actually, because he's got 1 in hand after this. Like, it doesn't do anything. And I think he's kind of realizing that none of his cards do anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pay 1 mana, look at your deck. We can fail to find if we really need to.
Pay 1 mana, look at your deck, discard a card. It's not.
Shuffle? We get to shuffle?
It's not going to break into Vintage anytime soon.
No. But hey, you know, maybe your thought process is evolving as we search through our deck. Our plan could be changing. Okay, so at least
all right, we're gonna get a land tax.
Okay.
Unless the last card in his hand is like a creature or a plow, I think Raja's dead here. Just to these 3 beaters.
And there's just so much too that Patrick can just draw.
Yeah. Like Goblins is way better at the long game than like red decks usually are. Like if he draws a matron, he can go get a ringleader. If he draws a ringleader, he gets, you know, He's just, they have so much card advantage. Yeah, put you to 4.
Yep. All right. What do we got here? Conclusion Forest, tapping. We're going to paint off of that? What are we
What
painting?
are we doing?
Oh,
What,
are we
have
blowing
green
up
cards?
the Mox? Naturalize. I'd go for a Mox here.
Main deck naturalize.
I guess we grab the land tax.
Green.
The land tax. That's a time walk. That was a green time walk, is what that was.
It's actually like 2 time walks, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't think the land tax matters, but it is like, it's not about winning, it's about sending a message, and hitting the land tax sends a message for sure.
I feel like our island might be untapped, but all right, we're gonna drop down to 1 here as we lose Patrick's life total for a moment.
Yeah, we lost both of them.
Yeah.
When we lose one, do we lose the other?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to invent a better way of doing life totals, Rob
yes,
would be
please.
happy.
I would be very happy.
If you haven't been on stream before, there's like, as like the players each have like 4 or 5 windows open. So Rob, I assume, his tabs are like this big.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 windows for various things. I mean,
That's it. Roger picks them up. And that's why I think people overvalue Tax Rack. That's what that deck does a lot. Play some good cards and then didn't draw your 2-card combo that lets you draw cards.
Chalk one up for the little green men there.
He did get to make the Sea Drake with the no downside. That was pretty cool to see.
It was.
Like with a land in play too.
That's the dream.
All right, what do they got in the board? Raj is like one of the few people in the league who I would believe had like a Tividar's Crusade. Although that's not, I don't think it's in the format. That's from the dark.
It probably is not in the format.
You can play a Sabo's Decree.
Let's see if I've got any
Sabo's
of these
Decree
lists.
is how the old like Cunning Wish blue-black control decks beat Goblins.
That makes sense. I can see that.
I just want someone to play it, and I don't think anyone's played it at all in any of our leagues.
Sabo's Decree? I don't think so.
All right, do we have lists? What's in them, Rob? Read them all. Read 75 cards off twice.
We do not. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to look at Sabo's Decree instead.
Nice. Look at that.
And choose a creature type. Target player reveals his or her hand and discards all creature cards of that type. Then destroy all creatures of that type that players control. They can't be regenerated.
So you mind twist them and you wrath them. And you do it in their draw step.
Oh, it is an instant. Oh.
Yeah. You get it with Cunning Wish and you just do it. And then the game's over.
That's just rude. That is unbelievably rude.
It's absolutely disgusting, and that's how those decks would like win against the tribal decks. Is they would just like play this thing, like try to live.
Right.
Be at like 5
six
life,
mana is a lot.
and you turn Cunning Wish for Sabo's Decree, untap, play a land.
Yeah.
In your draw step or in your combat step, like
jeez,
get you, and then turn.
You can't play around this either. Like the only way to play around this is to like board out a tribal. And like,
you can't play around it, but you can absolutely build around it.
Yeah. Jeez. That is.
This is one of those cards that's like the way to play around it is to not have the fear.
That's reasonable.
If you want to like get over, when I say the fear, I mean like this bad habit of like you didn't play your card because you thought they might have a counterspell or whatever. And then like they didn't have it and you lost the game because you time walked yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to get over that, play a combo deck in Vintage where you're like, I'm gonna wait to cast this Ancestral. and then your opponent casts their Ancestral and it resolves and one of the cards that drew is Mental Misstep and you're like, okay, I get it. I lesson learned.
That's true. That is.
Or even just, they're going to kill you. They make like Vault Key on turn 1 and you cast it and you draw your Vault Key like off the 3 cards where you in like Bulky Lotus, or whatever, like you had all the mana, you could have just won on your turn and you didn't find 4th will. You're like, okay, all right, great.
Yeah, that's happened. That's absolutely happened. It's
what have we learned? All right, but back to the actual match at hand. Like, what does Taxrec usually have against them? Like,
There's
he
probably
could
some
just have more
Hydroblasts.
removal. All the Hydroblast. Yeah, because
Yeah.
all the black removal is bad.
Yes.
Like Smother kills literally half their guys. Like he could have more removal for
I mean, Vendetta
lackeys.
is okay against the goblins. It's not the worst. It's not better.
I played a Vendetta this league in my Illurin deck, and we cast it 2 times, and both times it cost us 12 life.
Why? What were you killing that cost 12?
I was against the guy on Black Red Dreadnought, which I think is a great way to build that deck. And like I brought it in because I thought he might like be, he had Lavamancers, which are annoying for me, and like like that's really what it's for.
That makes
sense.
He
might just have white for Meddling Mage, so we bring it in. We had nothing else to bring in, and then just like he makes a 12/12 on like turn 2, and I'm like, Vendetta.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I thought Vendetta. You lost life equal to CMC, but that would make it really good.
Yeah, that would be significantly better. It's like most of the black removal like either can't kill black creatures and probably can't kill artifacts, or it can't kill like choose your own adventure of what it can't kill. Oh, you can't kill things that cost 4.
Right. Man.
So I don't know. I used to be playing that black green rock deck, and just me and Tweety would just pour over the Scryfall list for like a better life gain card and a better black removal, knowing full well that we had already done this, so there wouldn't be there.
No, you're not going to just rediscover if you go searching for that the first time. You don't find new things.
Yeah.
Like I think. I mean, white. We have some options. I hope to see some Hydroblasts.
I want to interrupt here. So both players are doing this pile thing. Let's stop doing that just as a group, and get back to cumulative like seconds of our lives. Because if someone wants to cheat at webcam magic, we should just let them. Like they need it. Just let them cheat.
I mean, I think when we all started doing this, right? Because we're like, well, how do we do this fairly, right? In the midst of like COVID, right?
I mean, it's just so funny. Like, all right, I'll do these piles. I'm using my hands, and then I'm up here doing it. I do the piles, and then I move my hands out and shuffle my deck where you can't see it. Like it's pointless.
Maybe one time if you're playing against someone you've never played against, you haven't met them. At the very beginning of the match, okay, sure, maybe. But I very quickly just turn into whatever.
It's like a Midwest politeness standoff of like, no, I'm going to be nice and let them have piles. I'm like, no, just let's all stop. Let's agree to stop right now. We're not going to do it. And if someone wants to cheat, like, I think maybe things aren't going so well, and we should let them.
Chat saying we should put 3 piles on camera, but have the 4th pile of good stuff off camera, so we can just put that on top.
Brainstorm's banned, right? We can't play Brainstorm.
Correct.
I have fantasized about entering like a low stakes tournament with a deck that has like 8 Brainstorms in it, like my entire life. Like just keep casting Brainstorms until they're like, wait a second.
Surgical extraction and then realize, oh, wait, huh? Or maybe they just like pull out the 4 and then they think they're done and then they just give your deck back and then you keep casting Brainstorms. Oh, that would be... Yeah. That might be worth it the one time.
Like, you concede your games. Like, you concede your matches. You don't actually make them lose, but like, just have fun. All right, we have fetch lands from both of them. I really think like the green splash, it's not... Oh, that's Carboos Forest. It's not something I've seen before. It makes sense. In other formats that have like fetch land duel, they usually just go for white because you can like bring in Thalia or whatever. But I think the normal splash in the middle school is black for like...
Yes.
What is it? Patriarch Spitting?
Patriarch Spitting and
gets all your goblins back. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the common ones.
I don't think Goblins is particularly great at leveraging Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy wants fodder, but it also wants a deck where you can sort of dictate the timeline, and Goblins can. Like, you want to deploy your stuff as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think the only reason I'd want Cabal Therapy
Plow
out
the
of
lackey.
Goblins.
Class, like no free wins here.
Oh wow, no, yep.
I want to see it.
That is how I lost. What did I lose to? Oh no, I'm thinking of the last vintage event where I lost to Goblin Lackey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think green is like a novel thing. What is this? What card is this?
That is Warmth.
Warmth. Okay. I mean,
as a red player, I'm very familiar with this card.
Yeah. Rob, have you gotten your first island yet, or are you still working through the basic lands?
I did top 4 with basic islands in my vintage deck.
It would work better if Werberg was red was first.
Oh my, please.
Let's workshop my joke so that I get my laughs from like the 7 people watching. Warmth is interesting. It's like, what did he take out? Because that deck doesn't generally have.
I'd take out a foil.
Flex slots in the main deck.
I don't think.
Yeah. I guess taking out counter magic is generally a good strategy against a deck like this.
At least something like foil, which is so disadvantaged.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. I think you took those out.
Yeah, that seems like an okay thing. And maybe just like some of the other like fluff that that we've mentioned before. But Warmth is interesting. It's probably not.
Attack you with Lackey.
Ooh, all right. Ask a question. We don't have any white mana up. We just have this one black. All right, Lackey connects.
Yeah.
Is this Seized Gang? Is it? No. Oh my. Is this really
is
just
it a Skirk Prospector?
No.
What is this one?
Is that a ringleader? That's a ringleader. That's an FNM ringleader, I think. But why? Wait. Oh, okay. We just misclicked.
Patrick just got excited. He got excited.
Yeah, we just misclicked.
He got excited, everybody.
Okay. So,
I would have cut Skirk Prospector.
Gonna gain some life.
Like that seems like you only want that against like a combo deck. I did not see what he revealed. It looks like he got 2 goblins. Not bad.
Pile driver and another lackey.
Mana.
He got a pile driver and another. So we're gonna deploy the pile driver here, I'm sure, and a lackey. Well, the lackey's whatever. We have the Skirk Prospector.
I don't know. He might. Like, it makes sense too, but I could see him evaluating the turning off the black mana here so that Roger can't put down like a Tog or something. And I think that's probably what he's thinking about right now.
I mean, pile driver blocks Tog all day long and can attack through the Tog.
Yeah, I think you're right, and you should just cast it. But that's got to be the decision that's being made right now, right? Like, what else?
That's fair.
And he can still play his Skirk Prospector or the new Lackey off the Wooded Foothills there.
Yeah, I wouldn't play the Prospector here. I'd play the Lackey over the Prospector unless I really wanted the 4th mana, because playing that is going to gain my opponent 2 life, and the Prospector doesn't do very well with that, but the Lackey still represents a lot of threats, so that I'd be okay with that.
The chat is pointing out that the obvious card that Roger could have here is Engineered Plague, which is a very popular sideboard card.
Duh. Yes, of course. That does make, make a ton of sense.
There's 100% chance that he has at least one. He might have multiple.
I believe. Yeah.
So yeah, I think turning off the black is a very reasonable thing. But at the same time, you play the pile driver. He plays Plague, and you lose the Lackey. It maroons 2 cards in hand, but you do still have a ringleader and a pile driver in play that attack for 3.
Yeah. We have to. There's a guarantee that there's at least one in the deck because we have the Enlightened
Tutor deck. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna play. We're actually to gain 2.
If Patrick loses this game, this is going to be the line that he asks everybody. Like, would you have done?
Maybe. Roger jumps up to 22 off this, so we're gonna rack here for 2. So we're just gonna see 2 new cards and draw one of the ones. We're sort of locked ourselves here.
Have you ever played Cincy's Divining Top? It's fine. top actually would have been better. It would have dug one further.
It did. All right. Patrick senses the same thing and takes your line.
Yeah, I think he's got this lackey that his opponent hasn't been able to block. Like if you're Patrick, you just ignore warmth, or do you look at your 1-drops and think maybe I'm not gonna make up the return on this?
I see of the 1-drops in the deck, lackey could see a return. Skirk Prospector, not so much, unless I want to use it as a Lotus Petal.
Ooh, a meddling mage. I wonder if this is just because it has a butt. Like,
sure, it blocks.
Like his sideboard plan is like minus all counter spells, plus all creatures, and you know, because generally like playing against like a deck like this, like changing into like a board control strategy makes perfect sense. But Goblins is a weird deck. Like I
think
it breaks
Patrick
a lot of rules.
Is telegraphing a Pyroblast here, because we thought about sacrificing the Skirk Prospector.
I mean, he could do that anytime, right? That'd be silly.
Yeah, well, unless Raja reads the room and says Pyroblast.
Names Pyroblast. Yeah. I think about this constantly. Like, if you play a Meddling Mage and you name the removal spell, did you get anywhere? You could have just named a different card, and then they would have cast their removal spell.
If they have it. So
be gone forever.
That's the, do they have the card or do they not have the card question, I think.
I mean, I've been playing Mesmeric Feed, so it's very like...
well...
Because in Alluren, the card that you care about is the removal spell. The best way to interrupt that combo deck is by killing a guy at the right time. I'm not going to tell you when. And so, like, it's you see this hand of, like, Plow and then, like, Oath, and you're like, do I just take this Plow?
So it looks like Rajan named Lackey with the Meddling Mage, despite the telegraph.
We are naturalizing the warmth. I don't think I would have done that.
I wouldn't.
I'm just gonna Goblins is not the difference between doing like an extra 2 damage and an extra like 30 damage. It can often be like 1 turn with that deck.
All right, so here's the Pyroblast we knew about.
We'll blow up the Meddling Mage because it was on Lackey. Is that what that says? That can't be right.
Yeah, it says Lackey. It was on Lackey. I mean,
it's definitely
the
name
Pyroblast.
Of like, I can't think of a good card, and I know he has a Lackey.
Yeah, I still would have named the Pyroblast.
I mean, I would have named a card I care about.
We could block the Lackeys.
I think hitting the warmth is... I don't know. I'm not an aggro player. An aggro player might disagree that hitting the warmth is the way to go because it could potentially represent
I will say this.
2 turns.
As the red player, if you've been got by like warmth before, the trauma from those events will easily make you point and naturalize at it rather than the card that matters. You can beat warmth as a red player. Good
cards. He's not just playing like shock and stuff.
This is true.
Guys, if you want to count to 20, you can just do that on your own time. You don't have to play Magic.
Okay, well, Raja's going to get his turn here.
Oh, good. Yeah, we are getting to see these lackeys connect. We didn't see like the turn 1 lackey connect. That's a
pile driver.
Okay, I mean that's a ringleader.
That was the ringleader
screen went out for like
that's
for 3 seconds.
For a while. That was the one that we lackied in, so we did because we did connect.
All right, it didn't look foiled before, so I was like, that's a
sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, now Raja has a chance to deploy an E-Plague here because the port is not able to tap the black source here.
Yeah, chat's not happy with the naturalized play either. I definitely think like I'm the warmth is not valuable enough. I want to punish him for taking out another card for it. But I mean, it also depends on what cards you have. If you feel like you're gonna kind of struggle to like get those last few points, I could see that being right, but I don't know.
I mean, if Patrick's hand is just like all mountains, then yeah, I can see how his opponent gaining life is a problem. But then also you're not casting spells, so like you're not gaining life.
How is Raja winning the game without either Tax Rack or E-Plague in play?
See, right now we have the Tax Rack. Like this is.
All right, here we go. He's got his thing online. We're on turn 700. All he has to do is return a land to his hand.
Roger is at 18.
He can turn on, and then the next turn he'll be able to draw cards. Have you guys heard of Factor Fiction? Like, you could just pass that. You could just. It seems like a lot of work for a few cards.
But okay, but it makes you feel like you're doing something, and sometimes we struggle to do that in middle school. You know.
It definitely, I could see it being very fun. I find that like the kinematics of just the card land tax is like miserable.
Right,
I don't care if my opponents play it. I'm gonna attack you for like approximately 700 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6 is 11.
Yeah, chat says 11.
In the first Romancing the Stones Invitational, I attacked into like 2 Sphinx of the Steel Winds with a bunch of Mentor tokens. And he was like, how much damage you have? And I counted it, and it was like well over 300 damage. Oh,
we have a Pendelhaven. It's 12. There's a Pendelhaven. Oh! Patrick wanted this more. Pendelhaven is sweet. Pendelhaven's not supposed to pump little goblins. They're supposed to pump the elves.
I'm rooting for the good guys here.
I will take that
green
one.
Men.
2 more fanatics. Okay, so Raja drops down to 6. So this is going to have to be a very good
reorder the top 2
turn.
cards in my deck.
Well, we're going to shuffle these 2 cards away because Patrick played the Pendelhaven.
Patrick played a land. I wonder if that was worth it.
I mean, it sends a message.
It doesn't make Raja look foolish, like not playing a land would do.
I mean, it sends a message. I think the message it sent might have been worth it. All right, so we get attacks.
Is very powerful here. I don't even care about him drawing cards. I care about him getting another swamp.
So if we are Raja, what are we trying to get? What do we want?
We're having 3 islands. What do we want? I don't know. What's in this stupid deck? Like he needs like removal spells and a blocker and maybe some mana. Like fast mana.
Okay, so some diamonds, and we tapped the swamp card too. That is.
He didn't tap it. It was tapped for him.
Okay, that's fair. Chat saying we need a Wrath of God. I don't know if we have any.
I don't think he's playing that card.
It would be good here.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Like, if they don't do anything on their turn, you can just cast Factor Fiction.
See, I don't even think... E-Plague is not even good enough here, right? Because Raja would immediately drop to 4.
Raja's life total's what?
6. He's at 6.
E-Plague makes the attack from like 18 or something to 3. So you save, go to 1.
Right. Yeah.
Which doesn't even work because he can Pendelhaven the 2/2 that will be a 1/1. I wonder if Patrick counted that. I wonder if he was like, all right, if I play this Pendelhaven now, it doesn't matter.
But maybe we shouldn't have tapped the swamp. Maybe we should have left that untapped as a trap. Trap you into playing E-Plague. Don't do the math. It's probably good, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We got nothing. We're dead.
We have the E-Plague, but...
Yeah, they're talking about the match being over.
Yeah.
Is there not second swamp?
This is almost definitely.
If you're boarding into like 4 E-Plagues and you don't have second swamp, I think that's sus. No, he had a polluted delta, but that's not playable.
Yeah,
he needs every
we probably
life
only
point.
have the one swap because we have the Undiscovered Paradises and land tax. You probably think you don't need more than that.
Like, Patrick looks like a fucking genius with his stupid naturalized play because if he hadn't done that, Raja would be able to play E-Flag and like untap.
And sometimes that's what happens. Knowing the context of the hand matters, right? Because we can see, oh, hey, we're gonna just like race, And if we're gonna race then and dump our hand, then maybe get rid of the warmth. But
it was really enjoyable to watch Tax Rack deck do absolutely nothing 2 games in a row. There's better things to be doing, you guys.
I mean, Tax Rack
He
won
did some
the last league, right?
You know, it's not a question of is it powerful to have these 2 cards. It's a question of how high is it batting above replacement.
Oh, sure, fair. If you were going to play Tax Rack hockey, what Tax Rack deck would you play?
It's Meddling Mage, and then is there like a slightly worse Meddling Mage I could play?
Null Chamber.
That is significantly worse.
Let's pull this up.
In the
Null
first
Chamber.
middle school event I played in, I had a Null Chamber in my Enchantress deck. This was the Enchantress deck I put together like the morning of, because at the last minute I was like, I wonder. I was going to play High Tide. I was like, wait, I should check if Fallen Empires is in this format. And it wasn't. And I was so sad. Like, I'd spent all weekend working on this High Tide deck that with fucking frantic search. I was so excited.
Wow. All right. Chat is saying Bazaar of Wonders.
If you cast... I don't know how many people have heard the Bazaar of Wonders story.
All right. I don't even know what this card does. This one is new to me.
It removes all the cards in the graveyard from the game. And if you're Steve Menendian, you think your Bazaar opponent might be playing it. Or rather, you're on Bazaar and you think your Xerox opponent might be like casting that.
Whenever a spell is played, counter it if it's the same name. Oh, I see. This is okay. That is a that
and it's
is a
really
lot of effort.
Bad. And I mean, I guess if you're like, if you view the second half as just upside, it's 5 mana of upside. Compared to Tormod's Crypt.
The only time I think I would be happy resolving Bazaar of Wonders is if I'm using it to get rid of the Abyss. That's about it.
Yeah. What's his name?
Wow.
Ali? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's got an umlaut. Ali Raid or something. One of the very first Invitational winners. He's the one who's on Sylvan Safekeeper. His original card design was a red world enchantment with no other text. Just R. Like, that's what he wanted.
Just as a way to like nuke other. Wow.
Which is like, I wish it had happened. Like, that's a way for red to blow up an enchantment.
Yeah.
Just suck all the air out of the room.
Jeez. Well, all right. So that was that match. Patrick did end up winning that over Raja 2-0. Does advance
quite
to
handedly.
4-2.
I mean, I gave shit to Raja's deck, but he did actually play like a lot of powerful answers, but just didn't have any follow up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that deck itself do well in our leagues before, and like still even making it this far is pretty good.
I think the parfait designs on that deck are better. I think they're more in line with what your deck naturally does when you're trying to assemble Tax Rack. Whereas like the Meddling Mage, Sea Drake decks, like it seems like it makes sense, but you're trying to play these tempo creatures, but you have to skip a turn.
It's not quite the same. It's not quite tempo. Like it should be tempo, but it isn't. Yeah, sure.
I think most of those decks would be better if they just cut 8 cards and put in like a couple lands and a couple draw spells and just play Magic the normal way.
But yeah, well, congrats to Patrick for advancing there. Let's hope the tiebreakers go your way. You sneak in 7th or 8th. Some number of 4-2s absolutely will, so we'll see. But stick around. We're going to take a brief intermission here real quick. We're going to go ahead and queue up our next round of Magic. So if you want to just stick around, we should be 5-10 minutes or so, and we'll be back with another round. And should be more win and ins for our top 8. So stick around. We will be back here in a second when I press the right button. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Romancing the Stones. My name is Robert. I'm in the booth here with Hockey. How's it going, Hockey?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I didn't introduce myself before. I am the current middle school world champion. Hockey.
Okay. Explain the event that has crowned you middle school world champion.
I want to say Eric Caffrey put it together at Eternal Weekend, and it was I don't know, like a few rounds of Swiss with like 20 people. But it counts. It counts.
I mean, no one else has put on a world champion, so
like realistically, I think our events are the most competitive middle school events in the world.
That's probably
like it seems
true.
like the Japanese people have a I don't know, a pretty competitive scene, but I don't think they're hitting very high numbers in how many players they have. I feel like if they were, they wouldn't be playing with us.
I mean, yeah, that's probably true. I don't know how often I'd love to hear how often they actually get to play. I know that they have weekly events
They
that
have
fire
like a
in
weekly.
stores. They do.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as a league, though. Not like this. Like this is kind of special.
Yeah, we call it a league, but it's a tournament. Usually a league, you just have to like find your matches. Like, hey,
Right.
you can't play the same person more than twice or whatever.
Right. No, this is an event. This is a tournament. I mean, not this league, but the last one was 49 players or something. Something like that.
It's insane. It's insane that our biggest events are these middle school leagues.
Yeah.
Our vintage club. I'm not even wearing our shirt. I've got the Team Serious shirt on.
Oh, there you go.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
more
our last
comfortable than
vintage
our
event.
shirts.
Let's see. Oh no. Okay, so Romancing the Stones 32 had 32 players, and that was one of the biggest vintage events we've had in a long time.
We should have gotten like a Peabody for hitting that number.
Yeah.
Some sort of prize, like Medal of Honor, Hero of the Soviet Union. I'll take whatever's on the table.
Sure.
I mean, I had absolutely no part in it other than not being there to make it 33.
Shame on you, Hockey. Shame on you.
Yeah,
well, you know who was there? Kai was there.
Unmasked. Swamp
Unmasked.
Unmasked against the Gemstone Mine. I love it.
Pitching Tendrils of Agony. All right, so we've got Kai on the left here, Brian on the right.
Look at Kai's hand. Wow.
Yeah, Kai is on this really cool, he calls it like middle school dredge. It's this Hermit
I think
Druid.
someone's posting this on our channel. I mean, it's fundamentally, middle school dredge, I don't think is a very good name. It's fundamentally a Volrath shapeshifter, whatever that's called. Full English breakfast deck. But it's a very different take. It's usually when you see the pre-modern decks, you're like, sorry, you guys have to play all these bad cards. But this one was like, oh. So he takes the Hermit. Kai gets to like slam survival here.
Yeah.
Kai is in trouble if he doesn't like have won the game by the time he has one counter on Gemstone Mine with his Gemstone 2 Reflecting Pool hand.
Yeah, because
I mean, that's like decks that want to actually, use some mana and like have any sort of late game presence. Like you end up just having to play. If you're a bunch of colors, you have to play this Reflecting Pool. Like it's so good when it's good, but sometimes your opening hand is like basic land, 2 Reflecting Pools. Oh yeah, can't do anything.
Meanwhile, Brian is nowhere close to that problem in his mono black deck. We did see him on camera last week. He's playing this sort of mono black suicide aggro half Necro storm deck.
I played against him, right? Is that
you were on camera last week? This is true. So yes, you did play against him.
He had the it was one of the scariest moments in my life. All right, he's gonna slam the Unearth here for Hermit Druid. Yeah, I mean there was nothing he could do with that Unmasked that wasn't gonna like put him in trouble.
You could have just taken survival, I suppose, but
why? The survival doesn't matter. It's a Hermit Druid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna see.
And he untaps with the Hermit Druid, and let's see what happens. He's got 3 mana of Rainbow.
But he's got the Trike in hand, so that might mess up some of the. Is it gonna mess up the math? Maybe I don't understand his combo.
He's passing. It's okay. It seems like we're on a Crozen reclamation line.
Yeah, we need some sort of we need some number of unearths to make this happen because we need to unearth the shapeshifter.
Ooh. Tax Strike players, check out this card. That's just both halves in one.
Well, we had a tax rate
You
player
even
who
pay
was
the
also
same amount
playing
of life
this
because you
last
guys got
league.
hit for 2 turns doing nothing. There's like a board of cards that everyone likes that I don't. And I'm just trying to go through them.
All right, well, we attack for 2. We slam this Necro. We're going to draw a bunch of cards.
I mean, I feel like Brian's deck is kind of doing what he wants it to do. He played, he's had plays. Obviously, he would this Zernorb's not doing anything, but
Not yet, but it's going to play a role next turn when he wants to gain life and Necro again.
Yeah, like Kai's just playing a fundamentally more powerful deck, and I feel like when he had his good hands are just going to crush Brian's good hands, I think. But post board, he's probably got like Tormod scripts and stuff, so I think it changes immensely.
And he's also got some number, like a lot of black discard spells, which can interact and mess up what Kai is doing.
End your turn, put my deck into my graveyard.
Now this is interesting.
Do you get to choose the order? We got Webb in the chat, who's like the Hermit Druid expert. He plays Hermit Druid in every league. He's never played anything else but that. And I tell him not to every time. And then he's like, I'm not having fun. No part of that story is inaccurate or a lie.
Hermit Druid. So what's happening here? We have, for 1 mana, activated ability, reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put that card into your hand and all other cards revealed into your graveyard. So we're going to put our graveyard into our deck, and I think Kai is just pulling out the cards that matter.
We're going to put our graveyard into our deck, everybody.
Yes.
No, so Kai is I assume you just get to choose the order. It's not like it's sequential in the card, but I think as far as the game is concerned, it's whenever you want. Yeah, otherwise this deck wouldn't work. So he's going to put...
Yeah, you revealed sequentially.
Honors on top.
But yeah.
He still has this Trike in his hand, but now he probably has Cabal Therapy that he can therapy himself off his Hermit Druid.
Sure. Okay, so this was at Brian's end step. So now he's going to clean up step.
I think he's...
Chat says we don't use the Trike off the Hermit line
because he drew like 10 cards.
Okay, looks like we're
One of my favorite things about Necro is the discard exile is a triggered ability.
Yep.
So if you discard, say, a Ray of Revelation, you can then cast it before it's exiled.
Yes, you can.
To blow up your own Necro. And I just think that's neat. I think it's neat. I don't know how good it is, but I think it's neat.
All right, here. So, what
we
do we
drew for our turn?
Drew our first combo card, I'm sure.
I think what's going through his head right now is, he's trying to figure out how to win, and he's trying to figure out if he can therapy his opponent for Contagion. Like, Kai's a very good Magic player, and I think he will go through all the ways to lose here.
I think there are some number of Contagions in Brian's deck.
But I'm also not sure it matters. Like, he can just go again. Maybe it's a problem having Hermit Druid on top of your deck.
Maybe.
That could be an issue. We're gonna what's it called? Coffin Purge?
Yeah, we purged the Druid off. So now it comes into play as a Karmic Guide.
It comes into play as a Karmic Guide. Incredible. Let's get a Karmic Guide.
Yes, which then brings back Psychatog. Okay. And now the top card of our library is what?
It's Unearth.
Well, but the top creature card, right? Oh, I see. We do this to make
the top card. This is why like Wasteland interrupts this deck. Like it seems difficult to play.
Vora Shapeshifter is a complicated Magic card, everybody.
All right, he's so now it's a Tog. So now he can control his graveyard. And I think what ends up happening is the last Tog activation will remove Tog, and then the top card will be in a Chroma, and you attack for lethal.
Okay, sure. That makes sense.
He doesn't even really need to do the whole thing, but I I don't think he can like try again.
Well,
We
you just
also
have to
saw
make
our opponent's
sure.
hand, so we know that we're fine.
I think you just have to make sure that the Zern Orb doesn't actually like keep us alive. Now, Brian's at 10, so like the amount of cards we actually have to do here is significantly less than normal. Instead of like removing
Like
40 cards, you
it's
only have
just
to
such an
remove
incredible
20.
combo. Like this is such like a machine. Like it's one of those decks where you look at it, you're like, wait, what?
What does this even do?
What do they do? And when you figure it out, like, wow. There we go. He doesn't even tap. Just get you.
Wow. All right. Well,
Game one, we get to see it. I mean, obviously, like a lot of decks have Tormod script, and being able to bring that in is an answer. And I don't know what Kai's deck looks like against a Tormod script.
I mean, we've seen Kai when he does this, he boards out the Hermit plan and just kind of goes more survival breakfast oriented because he
like,
just
usually
assumes
when
his
he's
opponents
played
are
these
bringing
breakfast decks, he's had like a complete alternate plan, like Dreadnought or second thing.
Right.
But yeah, I think that makes sense. Like you just go a little bit like like your opponent's gonna bring in their graveyard hate, so getting rid of your graveyard card.
Right. Yeah, he just makes sure that he's just not dependent on that plan. Because if he just keeps if he keeps a hand that says, yeah, this is really good graveyard plan, and then Brian just says, cool, like Nether Void. Like
Nether Void?
Not Nether Void. What am I talking? What am I thinking of?
Planar
Void. Thank you, Planar Void.
Come on.
What is wrong with me?
Rob.
Okay.
You're not at all distracted. You're very focused on this one screen in front of you.
Oh my gosh.
You're just bad.
Yeah. I am just bad, apparently. Pressing all the wrong things. All right. Yeah, so there's your Planar Void.
No, you are incredibly generous for
deck.
doing all this. / we are incredibly generous for humoring you. So... Now, Planar Void is a card that every time I feel like everyone playing black and they're looking for graveyard hate, they like see it in their collection. They're like, "Whoa, no," because it doesn't get rid of the graveyard that's there.
And it like,
and you might have your own graveyard cards.
I know, like it's so close to being.
It's a symmetrical leyline of the void for 1 mana.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I like it. I think it's underplayed, but I don't. You know, Withered Wrench is also something that black decks tend to play more of.
Yeah. Withered Wrench is
great that's already there.
Against like the more fair survival decks, I think Withered Wrench is actually the better way to address that card than like a Naturalize.
Sure.
Like realistically, like the survival without the ability to like either do some sort of graveyard combo or recur squee, like it's just fine. Like
I always look at Nether Void and say, this is really good and does what I want it to do. And somehow it never ends up in my sideboard for the black decks.
For those watching and following along, he does not mean the Legends card, Nether Void.
No.
He means Planar Void.
Yeah.
From, I don't know, Mercadian Masks.
Urza Saga?
Of course it's from Urza Saga.
Yeah.
That's back when like they'd like print a new mechanic in a set, and there'd only be like 8 cards with the new mechanic, and there'd be 2 cards that completely shut the new mechanic down.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry. Did you engage with the material? Get fucked.
What? They didn't do that with Fluctuator, right? No, Fluctuator enabled cycling.
There's literally a card that's like player can't cycle cards. It's like 1 mana.
Jeez. Okay, chat, what is that card? What is the card that players can't cycle cards? Does that exist?
Yeah, Stabilizer.
Stabilizer, okay.
Let's be honest. It's going to cost at least 3 mana.
All right.
But like, why? Why would you print that?
Okay, so they did print Stabilizer. However, they printed it forever after cycling. So it's from Scourge.
Nah, same border. That happened at the same time.
As far as we're concerned, yes.
Yeah.
This is legal in middle school.
As far as everyone who's not 1,000 years old / I don't know 40, or just we're a wealthy teenager.
So I'm annoyed at the Vorthos behind this card because the art is clearly depicting a sliver, and slivers have nothing to do with cycling, except until like Planar Chaos when you got like sliver cycling. But
So the instruction to the artist for cards with cycling was that it had no flavor association. So it'd be weird if Stabilizer did.
I mean, I guess.
So it's just a video camera of a sliver, taking a picture of a sliver, and with some lightning to cool it up a bit.
It does look like a video camera. Is this
hold
sliver
that
streaming?
Thought is such a flavor text for counter spells. A few years ago, I made a flavor text review of Modern Horizons 1, and it destroyed me and it hurt my soul. So it's been a while since I've done it, but I am doing one for Modern Horizons 3. And like every counterspell has this like tase text on it, like, "Oh, what did you think you were going to be a cool boy, but you weren't?" And it's funny to me that like this permanent that is just a counterspell for this mechanic also has tase text. Here we go, boom, Torment script, just like we talked about.
Yep.
And if you're wondering, hey, where can I get Torment scripts from the dark? They're actually really cheap, surprisingly cheap. You know, that's your pro tip from me today on buying cards.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to doing the flavor text review so we can stream it.
It's actually on the website in the roughest form possible already, in a place I'm not going to tell you guys because I don't want anyone to find it.
All right, well, the game is underway, and it feels a little less eventful than the last one did at this stage, but we've got Torment Crypt, which is going to slow things down a little bit.
Kai has now played 2 cards that have text, and Brian has played 2 cards that don't have any text.
All right, what do you name here? What do you name with Meddling Mage?
What do I name with Meddling Mage? Necro's at the top of the short list. Like, you could definitely be like, how's my opponent going to beat me if I name Necro? And I think that's like sort of the default answer. Other than that, just name like Duress. Like, let's get it done.
Sure, Duress.
All right,
Necro. All right, so we did name Necro. I suppose that does make sense, especially when we see the tower in play. All right, so we're gonna Cabal Therapy here.
Here we go. Best card in the format, everybody.
You're Brian. What do you want to name?
Does he have enough creatures to like get leverage out of this? I don't think he has like Entomb Nether Spirit.
No, I think it's off the back of Unmask.
Oh, that's not as good. Just play Duress.
Oh my gosh, look at this other Meddling Mage. Oh no.
Meddle the Mage. What do you name for the second one? I mean, Kai's going to play this Meddling Mage and probably name, I want to say like Smother or like Nantuko Husk.
I could see the Husks. The Husks will block these guys pretty easily.
Yeah. I mean, they'll keep them at home.
Yeah.
Look at this. Keep 2 black up.
Look at this really fair keep from Kai, though. Like, he's kept a very fair keep. None of this is combo oriented.
Oh, it's super fair. He makes 700 colors of mana, has 2 guys you don't get to do anything, and rips the survival off the top.
Jeez.
This is what you're missing, Tax Rack players. You could just
draw better. You could just draw better.
He's going to draw Squee for his turn. He's got the shine this game.
Double Necro. Okay, so Prime doesn't have much of anything going on. I think
Double Necro, I think, is a solid thing. You're going to get wrecked if he has like Mutilate or some crap. But
I think Brian is stuck on Necro. So I think we kept this off the back of Crypt, Tower, Necro, and we've got Meddling Mage. And I think Kai says that, right? You know, we haven't played anything. We must have this grip full of Necros. So let's just double down on the Necro. Pedal.
It's actually pronounced Euroscope.
Euroscope? I see.
Not. I made a joke just for me. Sorry, I apologize, everyone. I'll be better.
Just for you.
I'll be better.
Will you though? Will you be better?
I will.
All right, we'll see.
Yes.
Brian's already down to 10, and it looks like game 2 is going to be over fairly
Someone's
quickly
getting
here.
meddled. They don't get to have a word in edgewise. That's what's happening in this game. Like he clearly has
Look,
Necros in hand.
look at
We've
this
now
message we
exiled
sent.
one of them.
We pitched the Necro to the unmask. Instead of just casting it.
Not discarding Trike end of turn to go get, like, I don't know, third meddling mage.
Yeah, sure. Third meddling mage
That
would be
seems
good.
weird to me. I guess he's like 1 mana off just making this Trike, and maybe he's like, I might need this 3 damage.
I mean, Brian drops to 6. Like this is going to be over. So these meddling mages definitely lining up very well against what Brian was planning to do this turn or this game.
Like maybe I lost track of what phase we were in.
Well, there we go.
What are we gonna get?
Meddling mage, as requested. All right. So what do you name? I guess the only thing we can lose to here is mutilate.
Infest. Infest is a more likely card for him to have, but he wouldn't have brought that in, so I don't know.
What's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh, we had a negator. Why don't we play negator? We could have played a negator and blocked.
Was that his draw?
Maybe that was his draw. Yeah, well, that doesn't work. So it just looks like his... if Kai doesn't have the meddling mages there, and we get to resolve the Necro, I think that's really up for Brian.
Kai doesn't do anything for like 3 turns and has no cards in hand.
Fine.
And we get to do whatever we want.
All right. Silly statement.
No, I mean, you got brutalized by a line that very clearly telegraphed Necro, and the meddling mages are there. So Kai gets it in 2.
Yeah.
I don't think... I mean, Negator could make it into the top 8. We'll see. My match against Brian with the Battle of the Undefeated Brians was very terrifying because, he'll definitely get it because he was undefeated before this, probably.
Right, yeah.
He's got to be the best 4-2.
Yep.
It was very terrifying because I've spent a lifetime telling people not to play for XC Negator. And for a moment there, it looked like I was going to lose to it.
It did.
And I was very concerned about that possibility.
I think, I remember when we were watching the match, there were a couple times there where we thought, maybe this is where we're supposed to just attack all out, and maybe Brian didn't. I don't know. I haven't come back to check to see if that was correct or not, with all things considered, but it was close.
Yeah. At some point, I was evaluating, like, if he just attacks with one of them, can I just block with all of my guys? Like, do the rules work the way I want them to?
Yes. Yes, they do.
It is one of the most enjoyable things to say to someone in a Magic game, where it's like very clearly they've like done a bunch of combat math. They've thought about like the tricks, and they've thought about the attack back, and you're like, I'll block with all of my creatures. And they're like, oh shit.
Yep. Mistakes were made. Negator is such a I think it's underplayed, but it's also just like such a risk.
I don't think it's underplayed. The card's bad. It's been bad the whole time. It was bad when it was printed. Don't play cards that loot the game if your opponent has popularly played cards.
Well,
don't do that.
That's fair. Yeah, you can't play it ever against a red deck.
Like, I think it would have been a more interesting print in Innistrad when they had all these token things, and it'd been like a cool little like thing the token decks could do.
Sure. Yeah. Get some tokens, sack those instead.
Yeah, that format also had like Burning Pyre or whatever, where you do X damage, which is how many cards you exile from your own graveyard. So that'd been a cool counterplay of like, I exile 20 cards and blow up your Rex Indicator.
What was that? It's not Pyre.
It's
I know.
Funeral Pyre.
Funeral Pyre. Yes.
Yeah. Unless it's not, but I think it is.
I thought it was. No,
there's like a lot of cards like that I think would be interesting in this format.
Here's Funeral Pyre. We all know what this is.
It's not Funeral Pyre.
No, it is not that card at all.
Harvest Pyre.
Harvest Pyre. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep naming types of pyres.
Survey says yes. This is what we're looking for.
There we go.
Additional cost.
What a fun little card.
Exile X card from your graveyard deals X damage to Man, there's so many cards in red that are like this that I just wish. Can we just please go to the dome? I want to be able to hit players with it. Like obviously at 2, I think it'd be way too good.
I want to be able to just 2 mana fucking
no 2 mana like
you know
it's
what? You know what color deck this would be good in if it did that? Blue.
Yeah,
it would be a blue card.
I know. That's the problem with like the red cards. The best red cards become blue cards. You know, Bolt is almost a blue card.
You're not supposed to make that your main color. You're supposed to. Red's there to help. It's there to help out.
You say
even
that.
like Goblins decks, you're like, oh, they're all mono red when they're not. But like even if they were, and they could be, all the men are green. A little green men.
Well, yeah, but they're red in spirit. You can't just make them all red.
No, the color red is Goblin in spirit.
Yes, well, that's true. I'm on board with that.
Goblins were here first, and they'll outlast us all.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the last round of Swiss. So those 2 players are 4-1. They have very good tiebreakers.
Yeah, I think we see both of them in the top 8, regardless. Brian was, he got the pair up. No, he wasn't pair. He was undefeated, right?
Right.
No, he's 14 now, right?
Last round.
Then he wasn't undefeated.
Yeah, so he was 4-0 last round, lost to you.
What is the pass?
And a 4-2.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's got to have really good breakers.
Both of his losses are in top 8.
So he's in,
Yeah, I think he's got the best 4-2s.
We could see someone from our first match as well.
I'm hoping so. I think Patrick may squeak in. That would probably, if he squeaks in, probably 8th, maybe 7th. So we'll see. It'll be kind of interesting to see just how it shakes out. Got a number of matches still waiting to be reported, so we'll see. We're in one of my favorite phases of the leagues that we run, which is when people finish, they start posting their decks with their record, and you get to see just some really interesting things. I really enjoyed that part.
I mean, some people will just be like, I did this, blah, 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 and they're done. And some people put out a whole tournament report. Usually you get what they would change. Right.
I have a list of, I took notes this time for the first time in a decade, of my matches. Right. Of just my games and just sort of what happened in them. Because you know what, I played an Egg Storm deck.
You just put the number that you counted to?
I mean, sort of.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know
are you still on the Stone Rain, red prison deck?
No, did you see the deck that I played?
No, obviously, if I just got it wrong.
All right. No, it is, I played Tendrils of Agony, and I registered a Doomsday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Doomsday does not seem playable in middle school.
Oh, no. Well, so here's the thing, right? It is a wish target. One Doomsday is a wish target. Because you get to these situations where, you generate mana.
He wished for a math problem, but not the skill to solve it.
No, No. Trust me, it's actually easy. The Doomsday piles in this deck are actually easy. Because
4 lightning bolts.
No.
And what's the fire? Not firestorm.
Firestorm. Well,
you sack mountains.
Oh, fire blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not quite.
Boom.
So
take 16.
It's close. But okay, so Doomsday piles with this deck, you get 5 storm or whatever, and you're wishing with LED in play or something, and then an egg, and you have I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying a lot of cards because it's not a one card combo.
LED and an egg.
Yeah, an egg.
Just
you get an egg
from your kitchen.
Right. So you put you Doomsday and you put a Meditate in your pile of 4, and then you just put Meditate and 3 mana sources and Tendrils, and then you just egg to get the top card of your library, and then cast your mana and you play your Meditate that you just drew, draw the rest of your library, and then you just throw out your Lotus Petals.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Meditate.
And it's it is a pathway to get an extra 5 storm.
Yeah.
Which sometimes matters.
Did you ever do it? Did it ever happen?
Yes.
would any other card have won the game in that position also?
Technically, in that moment, yes, Iggy would have done the same thing, but Doomsday was better. But sometimes that's not always the case, you know. It's an avenue,
Hypothetically,
right?
sometimes it's not always the case.
Sometimes Doomsday is the only path to victory. There, you're at like Storm 4, and Iggy doesn't do anything.
All right, I mean, the chutzpah it takes to play that card in this format.
I wanted to have some fun,
Like,
so yeah.
I'll just take 10,000 damage to myself. I'll tap 3 City of Brass, cast Doomsday.
Jeez, no, don't do that. Don't tap 3 City Brass to play Doomsday. So anyway, if you want to check that out, it's in our Discord. That list is there. It went 3-3, mostly due to the deck being complicated. So, you know, maybe more reps, you know, first spin out, you know, out of beta testing or in beta testing. I don't know. I think it's got some potential. It needs some work, but needs a little bit better sideboard, I think.
I do think there's a lot of merit to some decks of just like, this is what kind of like Brian's trying to do. Like, I just make small little tiny tendrils. I just tendrils you for 8. Like,
sometimes that happens.
I play Burning Wish for tendrils. I cast Cabal Therapy and flash it back. Like, yeah.
I mean, it's got Necro, so you do that. You know, there are some lines where you will resolve Necro, play Tendrils, then have to do Necro again. But
it's fine.
Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes your opponent doesn't interact with you. I did play against a deck with, let's see, 10 main deck discard spells, and it was a mirror, so that was miserable.
10 main deck discard spells?
Yeah, or maybe it was 8, but either way, like 8 or 10, like somewhere in there. Like some, you know, your Duress is your Cabal Therapies, and then like maybe Unmasks or something. Then I played against 12 main deck counter spells, which was rough. And then the 4 or 8 counter spell deck plus 4 disenchants for, you know, just very shenanigans.
How many more arrangements of removal are you going to list off your deck can't beat? So
it's ridiculous.
Can't beat that. Oops, all counter spells can't beat that. Mix of counter spells to disenchants can't beat that either.
Oh, it was it was hard. Like, if you want to beat this deck, just play like
3 disruption cards.
Spells.
Can't beat it.
No. But if your opponent doesn't interact with you, man, don't worry about it. You got it.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Just tell your opponent to chill. Just hold on a moment. Pump the brakes.
Like what? What did you beat?
I beat a Madness survival deck that had taken 3 cards out and put in the breakfast combo as just a oops, I win, which they did to me game 2 because I played a Helm of Awakening that allowed them to just cheat their mana and get it.
That is rude.
It was it was
rude. Silly. Little combo to do.
I beat the Sliver deck, and I am confident that I only beat that because my opponent didn't know what I was doing and didn't counter the right card at the right time. But had they done that, I would have definitely lost. So that's a thing.
So the moral of the story is, like, I'm not going to make you like have to recite any more of this. The moral of the story is you guys should play Allurin. That's what we're hearing.
Allurin, this league is certainly the better combo deck.
Play Allurin. It's you just cast it, and then your opponent's like, "Do I die?" And you're like, "Pretty much, probably."
It's if you want to think less, play your deck for sure. If you want
to think, you have a lot of dumbass cards that you play in your deck, so you have to be like, "How am I gonna leverage my stupid bird with Echo?"
I registered a Darkwater Egg. Okay, I registered Darkwater Eggs. Like, those are dumb cards. Those are silly cards. Priest of Gix, silly card.
I think you got me beat. You got me beat there.
Now, your record is still undefeated, so that still wins. But
I have a very simple policy when it comes to middle school. It's if your hand has 3 lands in it, you keep that hand.
Fair. I don't
Sometimes you only
Maybe
have
I
3
had a
lands and
hand
3
with 3
drops,
land?
if it's fine.
I think in your deck that makes sense.
No, it makes
Maybe?
sense in all decks.
I might have had one hand
have
all
3
league
lands.
that had 3 lands in hand. So,
And you
I
went
didn't play-
3-3.
well, this is true. This is true. I did go 3-3. All right, well, everybody, that's going to do it. You don't need to listen to us ramble about my poor league experience any further.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around to listen to me tease Rob
It's fun.
about a 50-50 record, which is absolutely average, I guess.
It is. Technically, which is the best. Technically correct, which is
Adequate.
the best kind of correct. It is very average. But you know, I had fun. I had fun. All right. Well, that does it for tonight, but it's not going to do it for our event. We still have the finals to bring you and the semifinals. So we're going to figure out our top 8 by the end of this week. So if you're in our Discord, check that out. We'll get to post all the top 8 deck lists. Our top 8 is open deck list, so that will be exciting for those players. We will play based off seed. The quarterfinals will play off camera, and then semifinals and finals will play on camera.
Was there something to do with, we have like a weird schedule? Is that a fact or no? Are we just trying to wrap it up next week?
I think we're going to try to wrap it up next week. It just depends on the players who qualify in their schedule. I know last league we had 2 Japanese players, I believe, competing for quarterfinal spots or maybe even in our top 4, and that sort of dictated our schedule a little bit because they're like 14 hours ahead.
Break. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
Just picture someone in an office, like a very serious office, just playing their match.
Maybe. If I could play at I don't think I could ever get away playing at my office. Well, my office is my home right now, so that I guess doesn't count. But any office I've ever been in prior. Well,
it's a whole different animal.
It is. If they can do that, then all the more power to them.
So it sounds like we think we're gonna play the quarters offline, and we're gonna be able to play the semis and the finals next Thursday,
right?
Which is our usual cadence. I know that Stu was talking about having some sort of conflict, but it seems like we're gonna be fine.
We'll see. So Chad is bringing up a good point. The land is coming up, which is an invitational sort of style tournament or something that a lot of the players in this league are going to be a part of. So that may change availability. So,
but I think if we're playing next week, we'll be before
that
event. That event's in June, first week of June.
Right. So, in any case, moral of the story is just show up in our Discord. All the current information is going to be there.
Come to the Discord.
We'll tell you what's happening. We'd love to have you.
Tell me I'm wrong about stuff. I dare you. Now, do it. It's fun.
Okay. Chat, please go.
Okay, bye.
Go into Discord and tell Hockey he's wrong. All right. Well,
be wrong a second time.
All right, everybody. That'll do tonight. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you guys. Take it easy, and we're gonna see you hopefully next week with the finals. But if not next week, sometime soon. Good night.
Bye bye.